I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Dave Palumbo with RxMuscle.com. We are here at the 2013 IFBB Tampa Pro. I'm here with John Hansen, and we're going to do a little preview of all the men's festivities that's going to take place this weekend. We're here at Tim Gardner's show. This show has grown into a monstrosity, as I like to call it. It's probably going to be the biggest, I guess you could say, pro show of the year, number-wise. In other words, we have 6 divisions. I think we have over 150 competitors. I don't think there's ever been a pro event to house that many people.
I know. I think it's his 6th year doing it, and hats off to Tim, man. He's really stuck with it, and it's a huge show now.
You know, I told him right from the beginning, I said, Tim, I love what you do, and I love your passion. I love the way you really cater to the athletes, and I'll support this show, I said, as long as you do it. And I have always, you know, with Species Nutrition, we've always sponsored the show. We're going to be hosting the press conference tomorrow, where we'll get to interview some of the athletes and see what's going on. But the excitement here tends to be the men's event, because we have some terrific competitors. The talk has been Evan Centopani, Juan Morel, the showdown. You know, Juan placed 3rd in a very competitive New York Pro this year behind big Rami Elspaye and Victor Martinez. A lot of people thought he should have beat Victor. He wasn't happy with ending the year on that note. He really wants to come back here and do some damage and hopefully qualify for the Olympia. Evan Centopani seems to be the guy who's the sleeper. We never see him. He crawls out of the woodwork once or twice a year. You never see him other than that. It seems like it's shaping up to be a Centopani-Morel battle, although we got a few last-minute entries. Talk to me about what you like about Evan Centopani first.
Well, obviously, Evan's got a great potential, and he did leak a few pictures last few weeks, and he showed a lot more thickness. His chest has really come up. So, you know, if Evan gets his stuff together, man, he could really be a top contender at the Olympia, and I think he could take this show.
He's got tons of muscle. We know he's going to be in condition because he's working with Chris Aceto now. He seems to, I got the diet thing down. What do you think are his weaknesses? What weaknesses can Juan Morel and some of these other competitors exploit?
Well, I think in the past his weakness was his chest. You know, he had the good arms, good legs, good width, but he just needed more thickness. But it seems like, from those pictures at least, that he's really brought that up. So if Chris can dial him in and bring him in full and ripped, I think he can win this thing.
Centopani's got the thick, crazy front quads. From behind, he's always got the great conditioning, but doesn't have really a lot of glute and hamstring there. There is some vulnerability there. Can Juan Morel exploit that? We know Juan's got the crazy glutes. He's got a lot of wow factor on him, and you know, working with him personally, I know that Juan is going to be about almost 10 pounds heavier than he was at New York Pro with the same level of conditioning. I mean, this is a guy who's got such a freaky metabolism. He's got to eat pizza and McDonald's all day long, including the day before the show. So here's a guy who could give Evan Centopani a real run for his money, because Evan really hasn't been pushed too hard in these local type shows.
Yeah, that's true. And Juan is a freak. I mean, he's growing from, like you said, month to month. And, you know, to have that kind of genetic potential, yeah, he could really surprise people too. So it's going to be up between those two. Just who comes in the best. You know,
we talk about Evan and the great taper he's got. He's got the wide shoulders, small waist. Juan Morel's probably got a smaller waist. He's got the crazy V taper. You know, a lot of people don't realize Juan has been on the lighter side on stage. So, you know, sometimes you don't see the fullness in his muscle bellies, but he's going to be almost 260 pounds on stage here come Saturday. And I think that a lot of people are going to be very, very shocked when they see the level of conditioning he brings with the muscle. Can that wow factor that he brings, you know, push him over an Evan Centopani in your mind?
Yeah, I think so. And I think at that New York show, he was sort of overshadowed because of Rami and Victor Martinez. I think, you know, the whole buzz about that show was about those two guys, and Juan was sort of forgotten because he was sort of even though he made the top 5, he was in the background. So if he's made significant improvement from that, I think he can really surprise a lot of people. I think that guy's got incredible potential.
Chris Aceto and I went pose for pose with Centopani, Morel, and we determined that, you know, we kind of came to a draw. The conclusion that they probably balance each other off. You know, so what that leaves is an aesthetic sense for the judge. Who do we like better? What looks better? Yeah. And in that sense, it really, you can flip a coin probably with those two competitors, especially if they both come in the best shape of their life.
And also, Dave, who presents himself better? You know, I think part of Evan's problem is, you know, he really needs to come out and be more aggressive on stage. I think that's one of his problems he had in the past. So whoever comes out and really wants to take this show and show everybody that I'm the winner, I think that's going to give them the edge.
Well, let's throw some of these other guys into the mix now, because these are certainly no slouches. Lionel Baiki, who arguably, I believe Chris wasn't really happy with the way he looked in Chicago. You were there. Talk to me about his Chicago look and tell me what he needs to do to come in here to beat these two guys.
Well, Lionel's very impressive when he comes out because he's so blown up and he's so full and he's such a big guy. And Chris, I think, was a little bit more critical of him than I was. I think he looked really good. He just needs to come in, as always, a little drier and a little harder.
If he comes in harder from behind, does he come down too much in size and lose that wow factor on stage?
Yeah, that'll be interesting because Evan and Juan are both much bigger guys than Lionel. So if he does come down in size and tries to get that conditioning, he might lose that wow factor that he always has with that blown up size he always has.
Let's talk about Issa Obiad, who is one hell of an impressive bodybuilder.
Absolutely, yeah.
Talk to me about what this guy needs. Can this guy come in here and beat everyone? Because, he's got really no weaknesses as far as I can see. And when he comes in shape, he's peeled from head to toe. Yeah,
and I thought he placed a little lower than he should have in Chicago. I had him in third, and I think he took fifth. He's another guy, when he comes out, it's like, wow, you almost go back in your chair because he's really freaky looking. He's so big and he's so grainy and hard. I think he just needs to come up better from the back. He's much better from the front than he is from the back. He's got those freaky delts and chest. When he hits his back shots, it's not quite as impressive. So, yeah, he would really need to bring that up in order to take first.
And he's got some hell of a Centopani and Morel to deal with from the back because those guys are very, very dangerous from behind.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to beat those guys.
Let's talk about Bill Wilmore. We always kind of forget Bill Wilmore at every single show, and this guy always seems to just keep pushing his way to the top. He placed second at his last show, and a lot of people thought that was not a good placing. What was your impression of Wilmore? I thought the Wilmore I saw at the Masters Nationals a couple years ago was phenomenal. I haven't seen him quite bring that level of conditioning since then.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I wasn't impressed with him as much as the judges were in Chicago. I didn't even have him in the top 5. I would have had Lee Banks in that 5th spot position.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. He just needs to come in hard, and he has structural weaknesses, compared to these other guys. So I can't see him placing ahead of them. He's a big guy, and he came in shape, but I don't see him being
a factor in this.
No, not really. No.
Here's a guy who structurally is amazing, muscle mass-wise amazing. Doesn't bring the level of conditioning that you or I probably would like to see, but very dangerous competitor, local guy, Jason Huh. Talk to me about, he could be the dark horse here. Can he bring the conditioning in where he can win this show?
Yeah, he was a surprise entry. Nobody knew he was coming in. I think he just entered in the last week, but he is a freak. I seen him compete in the show a couple of years ago, I think 2 years ago in 2011, and he's got that small waist. He's got freaky huge arms and legs. So it'll be interesting to see, what kind of condition he is. He would really need to be ripped in order to make an impact, but he's definitely got the structure and the size.
Maybe one of the best backs in the IFBB right now, too.
Absolutely, and a real small waist. You don't expect that with a big guy like that, with a big structure like that. But yeah, he's a freak. So he just needs to come in condition.
Do you think that he has this thing in his mind where I need to be bigger than everyone else, and he maybe holds himself back from getting in the condition he needs to?
Possibly, because I think that's what held him back a couple of years ago when I saw him. You could see he had it. He had the potential. And Samir Bannout was at the backstage working with him, and Samir was like, "Wow, you're unbelievable," And even when he went on stage, he got the most applause, or a lot of applause, compared to all the other competitors. But he just needs to come in condition.
He's got the freak factor, that's for certain.
Oh yeah, like I said, when he hits a shot because of that small waist and his freaky body parts, he's just amazing.
Evan Centopani has never lost a show, other than the Arnold and the Olympia on a local level. Will Juan Morel be able to unseat him or take that honor away from him? Juan has won one pro show before. He's been very close before. I think this is going to be a supreme battle between these two guys. I'm predicting 1-2 on both of these guys. And you know what? I can't even go out on a limb and make a prediction, although since I'm working with Morel, I got to go Morel first, Centopani second. You want to venture a guess?
I'm going with Evan. I'll go with Evan and then Juan second.
All right, you heard it from Big John Hansen. I'm Dave Palumbo for RxMuscle.com. Stay tuned all weekend long for updates and coverage. We'll see you Saturday morning.